This episode is brought to you by Amazon Prime. There's nothing sweeter than baking cookies during the holidays. With Prime, I get all my ingredients delivered right to my door, fast and free, no last-minute store trips needed. And of course, I blast my favorite holiday playlist on Amazon Music. It's the ultimate soundtrack for creating unforgettable memories. From streaming to shopping, it's on Prime. Visit Amazon.com/Prime to get more out of whatever you're into.
A day after a worker was trampled to death by an early morning Black Friday stampede inside this Long Island Walmart, people are wondering just how a post-holiday hunt for bargains could cost someone their life.
It was just total mayhem.
This woman was inside the store. She says the 34-year-old worker could not survive the crush of humanity when the pre-dawn blitz line made its way through the doors.
He was trying to control the crowd. No use. They just pushed on him.
That employee fell to the floor, was stepped on by hundreds of people before help could get to him.
Police say the crowd even jostled first responders as they attempted to revive Dimithi Damore, who was pronounced dead at the hospital about an hour later. This is a picture of Damore at 13 years old. His father says he was a good son.
My son is a good boy. You know, 34 years, never be in trouble.
Police are looking at surveillance tape in an attempt to identify people who stepped on the man. Charges are possible, but police say it may be hard to single out those responsible. Police say there wasn't enough security at the store. In a statement, Walmart calls the incident an unfortunate event.
From the ashes of last year's Christmas tree, it's Scraping the Vault.
But you couldn't take the time to download the songs from this thing.
Nope, I couldn't. That was Jimmy. I'm Dan. And joining us as well is Audrey. This is the show, but see, that's proof that Audrey's here.
Hi, I'm here.
This is the show where we usually watch straight-to-video Disney sequels, but occasionally we'll take a detour because we either want... Wait, hold on. There it is. We either want to or we need to. And in this case, I think it's a little bit of both.
Yeah.
And we watched Rudolph, the Red-Nosed Reindeer.
1964 classic.
1964 classic.
Woo!
I also have similar feelings in a certain direction.
We had to watch it because Santa's coming to town.
That's right. And
Grumpy
he came
Santa.
to town. Grumpy Santa's already here. But Happy Santa visited you 5 days ago.
Wait, aren't we releasing this on the 25th?
Oh,
or are we?
today.
This
last night.
Merry
right.
Christmas.
Merry Christmas. I hope you got everything you wanted, including this podcast. And if this is what you wished for Christmas,
get a more interesting life.
If you were naughty this
See a
season,
doctor.
you get the Supreme Resort episode.
If you were naughty, you get our next episode potentially. We'll talk about that later.
So this is dealer's choice, like we did last year, where we did a very Brady Christmas, and this year on brand, I chose a film that is synonymous with my childhood. I know it by heart. I have a lot of things to say about it. It is not without its flaws. It is absolutely not timeless and does not hold up very well in a lot of different ways. Does not pass the Bechdel test in any way. But I will argue for some potential social commentary I think it's making. But I love this movie, and I will stand for it, and I will watch it probably 4 times a year, and not always at Christmas. It brings me to a place of joy, and everything that this holiday symbolizes for me in my childhood is encompassed in this movie.
That's nice.
It is.
Yeah. And I, yeah. We all know how I feel about these things.
Dan,
Yes.
before we get to Dan, Audrey.
Audrey.
Yes.
What is your relationship to this movie? Because indications in the text chain are that you haven't seen it a bunch.
I remember watching it as a kid a few times, but it's not like, oh, Christmas is here. Let me check my watch. Yep, it's that time. Rudolph is going on the TV. And I don't know if I feel that way about any Christmas movie, really. There's not like a movie I must watch every year around this time of year.
Besides a Very Brady Christmas.
Besides A Very Brady Christmas, which I've watched 6 times since the start of December this month. No. But also, I felt bad for laughing at that poor Walmart employee who was crushed to death.
That's just...
I think, to be fair, you were laughing that I had the poor taste to add that to this show and to add Christmas jingles to it.
It's the Christmas jingles that do it. It's the subverting of expectations of a listener who's tuning in to listen to this joyous tale
on Christmas.
Saving Christmas with this poor misfit reindeer.
Yeah.
Jimmy, do you feel like we're being held hostage by Dan right now? Like Dan could just any minute now ruin this whole episode with darkness.
Or I could make it better.
That's true.
This feels good.
I can
this
also
is
take that
nice.
away.
What
I give it, I can take it away.
Please, we'll do anything. We love the movie. I mean,
so
we hate
what's
the
your
movie.
Dan, what's your relationship to the movie?
My relationship is probably the same as, it's probably very similar to yours, with more, with maybe possibly less functional family happiness happening in the background of it.
Mm-hmm.
Not that, I mean, like I've mentioned before on the show, we've worked it out. We're fine, but there are reasons why separations happen, and all of that. I think oddly enough, what warmth I feel from it comes from the choir that the choir that sings in the background in this has a very distinct of this time period and of this production facility sound. And I don't know if it's specific people or singing styles or like how it was not orchestrated, but for lack of a better word, it's something that it's kind of a dragon I've been chasing for a while, because there's something to it, but I can't put a finger on what exactly it is.
It might be a similar sort of aesthetic to this same time period Disney movies, like in the animated. It's very similar, right? Similar audio quality, similar voices and intonation.
Yeah, definitely the storybook recordings.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know if it was just this is a choir that existed in Burbank that everyone went to, I can't put a finger on it. There's a certain pattern towards in the alto section. There's a lilty, a sweeping up kind of motion that happens a lot. That is maybe that's it. I don't know if they're all singing to each individually be heard. I don't know. As someone who is occasionally a musician, I am interested in it, but not enough to do any research.
It's a very specific sound, and I could be completely wrong on this. Maybe in the oddies, people started caring more about sounding very produced vocally.
Maybe.
Auto-tune happened, and then all of a sudden the demand for sharpness and cleanliness in a choir sound was prioritized.
That makes sense. I mean, it could be just as simple as, this was just the way people were singing at the time, plus using a certain kind of microphone, a certain kind of analog tape, and a certain kind of reverb.
Just like most 80s music sounds similar, and the voices sound the same, and the 90s pop stars sound the same. It's kind of, you know what I mean? Just in a general pop situation.
The thing is, I don't think it's not going back to that. That trend, I think, is never really, it's not being brought back in a mainstream way. Whereas trends, and I don't know, I feel like a retro synth thing is coming back in a lot of pop music. Perhaps. I've never.
But anyway, So this movie, when it came out in 1964, it was produced for television. It was Rankin Bass, and it must have been November, December 1964, and then every year since. Mm-hmm. And there were changes to this movie, which we'll talk about as we go. But I have, as you might have guessed, a very detailed breakdown of everything that happens in this movie. But before we get to that, Dan, what else was happening in 1964?
Oh, not a whole lot.
2, 1, 2, 3.
So, let's see how long I can keep up with this.
Wait, I thought you hated the Beatles.
It's a character. Vietnam War was still happening. If you want to get depressed, just look into that. Boston Strangler, that was a thing. He was doing his strangling around the Boston area. Let's see what else. We had good news. We had the Civil Rights Act of 1960. Yeah, hold on, wait. Can't do that anymore. Okay, so the Civil Rights Act of 1964. Right? Yeah, I'm impressed with myself. Civil Rights Act of 1964, that happened. And let's see if it sticks around after 2024. Let's hope. And let's see. Oh, important news, also good news. I think possibly Elizabeth Taylor marries Richard Burton. Oh. And I didn't say for which time. They probably got divorced the next day and got remarried. If you want to see more of that, watch Who's Afraid of Virginia Woolf, a documentary about their marriage. Let's see. Also, the Warren Commission decided that there was only one shooter in the JFK assassination and that there was no conspiracy. Just like later on, they decided there was no conspiracy with Robert F. Kennedy and Martin Luther King Jr.'s assassinations, which were eerily similar.
Can we go back to the news footage, please? Well, that's lovely. And also,
it's a really good time to be alive.
Rankin Bass, the World's Fair. We got Abe Lincoln, Small World, People Mover. Yeah, I mean, so many things came out.
The next 1964 movie we'll do.
Okay.
There's nobody's asking for this, but we could throw in a cool crypto segment for those crypto kids out there and say that we were still tied to the gold standard in the 60s. Woo!
Yeah.
Oh,
nice.
Yeah, and this movie gets into that very loosely. Yeah. Which is really funny. Because there's no way that this wasn't connected because that conversation was still happening.
And this, for all intents and purposes, is a musical. There are musical numbers throughout. Some of them are related to what's happening in the story. Most are not. And because Dan did not take the time to download those, I will be performing each of the songs in character.
Okay.
Yay!
Well, I was worried that just like with Dan Hates the Beatles, Yoko Ono would take us down for...
Yeah, I don't blame you. Okay, so you guys ready?
Let's go.
That's as ready as it's going to be.
Okay, very similar to the way this episode started. We opened this movie with headlines from regional newspapers, including the San Francisco Chronicle. Cold wave in 12th day. Next paper, we're frozen. Next one, ice peril warning.
Doomers.
Tough going, sanitation army digging us out. And then the next one, foul weather may postpone Christmas. I thought I heard cool breezes. And then Rankin Bass present. Anyway, just Rankin Bass presents. And then we meet Sam, the talking snowman. This is Burl Ives from Main Street USA at the Magic Kingdom. He remembers when the world almost missed Christmas.
Oh, and by the way, I will be inserting music from his brother. It's not really his brother, Charles Ives, throughout this episode.
Great.
And I'll be wearing Ives Saint Laurent shoes. Their other brother. Just kidding.
And later, Ollie might be drinking Saint Ives.
Oh, what's that? There's something in my Ives. It's just dust.
So these newspaper headlines we've seen are a reminder of the past. So those all happened before Sam is remembering it. He welcomes us to Christmas Town, also known as the North Pole. He is gliding through the Christmas tree forest. Yep, here's where we grow them. And they all have Christmas decorations on them. It's lovely. Tinsel and beads.
Cute. They're little felt like pancake stacks of tree. And he's so round and wholesome and warm and inviting and welcoming and friendly and a snowman.
A talking snowman.
Yes.
And, you know, there's the link. He was also the host as Sam the Eagle in America Sings. There's your Disney link. There you go.
There we go.
Same name and everything. So Sam introduced us to Christmas seals, Then the first citizens of Christmastown, the Clauses, Santa and the Misses. They live in the first castle on the left. Matter of fact, the only castle on the left.
And then a petty tyrant.
He kind of is.
He is. He really is.
And then Mrs. Claus is Italian for some reason, but
Sky Angels.
Yeah, it'll pay off.
Papa, whoever skinny Santa.
Eat your giardiniera. Too skinny.
Yeah. So she's trying to fatten up her husband before Christmas. He's
Take
skinny.
the sleigh.
Whoever heard of it?
Leave the cannoli.
Whoever heard of a skinny Santa? But everybody expects a fat Santa, of course. And this movie does not pass the best Bechdel test.
No.
Oh, no.
So they refer to each other as Papa and Mama. Is that weird?
I think it's a little weird, but also I think it was maybe not weird then.
Hey, I'm not one to kink shame, okay? So maybe they're just into that.
The mamas and the papas? I mean, he is Father Christmas. So, anyway.
Yeah, I mean, it's not like they're going into a weird, like, daddy-daughter play, which is like, I mean, again, not kink shaming if that's what you're into, but still, it's kind of like, there is a line there that...
So...
Yeah.
I mean, Santa Claus is a distinguished old man. You'd assume he has some, like, middle-aged children, right? Where are they? What do they do?
Yeah. Because how else is he a papa if he doesn't have kids?
Maybe
exactly.
The real is Mrs. Claus.
Who is he the father of, aside from a concept?
The elves?
You're telling me those two had hundreds of elves together?
No, the elves are slave labor. Those are all naughty children.
How do you know they're slave labor?
It's well documented. Do your own research.
My God.
See.
I'm not allowed to do so. I can't do my own research. I gotta trust your authority.
Yeah.
But then I also need to do my own research. Okay.
Yes, you need to do your own research and come to the same conclusion that I've come to.
Well, no, listen.
It's ridiculous.
It's in this film.
Yes, it is.
Presented in this film. Spoilers, but one of them quits. So clearly they're not slaves. Because they can either get fired or they can quit. So
but
they have authority.
Kind of, let's be honest, were they really sad to see him go?
Well, no, because he's different, and we'll get into it. Hold on. Okay. So Sam explains that it's always the same story. Don't worry. Mrs. Claus will fatten him up in time for Christmas. And Sam loves...
She's going to foie gras him with cookies.
And he goes from like a 34 to a 60 in like 12 minutes.
Hey, I know the feeling, Santa.
Real time.
He did the Nikocado treatment. This is a YouTuber
references.
Yeah,
it's a healthy game.
We're trying to stay hip with the youth.
I'm gaining mainly with clean protein and vegetables.
Mukbang Santa Claus edition.
Do I want to know what that is?
You can Google it later.
Oh no, should our listener Google it?
It's all over the place, okay?
So, Sam loves this Christmassy time of year. Not like that year of those aforementioned snowstorms. He doesn't know what they would have done without Rudolph. Anyway, wait. Rudolph? Is it possible that you're not familiar with the story of Rudolph?
Why?
Well, pull up an ice block and lend an ear.
Let me tell you, let me learn you something, stupid.
Well, you know how Santa
nice
uses...
No,
you know how Santa uses these flying reindeer to pull his sleigh. And then we have a music cue to opening credits. It's not this. You know Dasher and Dancer and Prancer and Vixen, Comet and Cupid, Donner and Blitzen. But do you recall the most famous reindeer of all? And then... And then the credits start, and it's an overture. There are no more lyrics from there.
Steve Gutenberg.
The song is rather short, without much content. The movie is, it's like, so the song, Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer, is like 3 sentences, right? And this movie's kind of like the Rogue One of Christmas movies. Like, Rogue One is a whole movie based on a sentence and an opening crawl.
Yes.
So what you just unlocked in my brain is wonderful, because I was going to say that this is much like the movie Grandma Got Run Over by the Reindeer.
Oh yeah, that's
by
a
a reindeer.
too, by the way.
But then that means that also means that Rogue One is just like, it's much like Grandma Got Run Over by a Reindeer, which I love that exists now.
And it's bad. It's really bad. But I also watch that every year. It's great. But anyway, so
Rogue
it's a short
One?
story. No, the Grandma Got Run Over by a Reindeer.
Got it.
I like Rogue One. It's one of my favorite Star Wars movies ever.
I thought it was pretty cool
Anyway.
too.
So after the credits, Burl tells us it's a few years before the big snow, and Santa's lead reindeer, a few years after the big snow. Or before the big snow, Anyway, so Santa's lead reindeer, Donner, has just become a proud papa.
No.
Now, why is Donner the lead reindeer? Because if I'm not mistaken, Dasher, Dancer, Prancer, Vixen, Comet, Cupid, Donner, Blitzen. So they go in reverse order?
Okay, hold on. So there's Dasher, Dancer, Dasher,
Kyle, and then Francis.
Unless they're starting from the back. Dasher,
Michael.
Dancer, Prancer, Vixen, Comet, Cupid, Donner, Blitzen.
I'm just trying to think like in the writer's room, like how did they do that process of elimination? Other than just like maybe Donner just sounds like more like a good, like manly presence. Because Dasher, not so much.
What about like pin the tail on the reindeer? They had them all plastered up in
they could just spin the wheel.
Room,
yeah.
And they walked blindfolded to the lead to one of the reindeers, and they're like, "Oh, landed on Donner. He's the lead."
Well, it couldn't be Vixen because that's clearly a female deer.
Yeah,
maybe Donner was like the senior reindeer in the high school, and like, oh, we haven't given it to Donner yet. We better give the lead to Donner, even though he doesn't deserve it for any reason. He's just seniority.
Maybe he's just lead reindeer for that year. Maybe they just switch leads every year.
Who was eaten in the
good.
Donner party?
Oh, that's interesting.
Donner
that's why.
kebab.
Yeah.
He's a survivor. I mean, just based.
But I guess maybe. But I would just say Dasher would be better because Dasher's a good name. He's first in the song.
Dasher's more of a fighting name, though. It's more like a Lancelot.
Maybe Donner, like Dawn of youth, Dawn of life.
Because Rudolph is the Christ child, so
it's better than Doffer. Get it? Turn Donner, then turn Doffer.
I have 8 pages. Okay, so Donner's firstborn. And by the way, I have more pages.
That's not my problem. Okay, that's a you problem.
It's going to be your problem.
All right. Well.
I'm the one who has to edit this monster, so
you're the one that had 2.5 cups of chili. You're gonna have to go to the bathroom soon enough.
Try.
Anyway, so
I don't know that yet.
Oh, this is a callback from.
This is a callback to something that you might hear if you're willing to listen to us for that.
That's right. So Donner's firstborn is named Rudolph, and he recognizes his name when it's said to him. So he's really smart. Mm-hmm. There's just one problem, though, guys. He has a shiny nose.
Yeah, and an abusive father.
Shiny. I didn't even say it blows. Hey, that's from the song.
Oh, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Rudolph's mom says they'll just have to overlook it. And Dad says, how can you overlook that? His beak blinks like a blinking beacon.
Yeah. You can smell the whiskey in that voice.
He's played by J. Jonah Jameson. What's that guy's name?
J.K. Simmons.
Yeah,
J.K. Simmons. Yep. It might still be him. He's still older guy.
Could you imagine J.K. Simmons in like a CGI reindeer body performing like they did Cats? Let's give Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer the Cats treatment.
That would be. I would watch that.
They're going to do it.
I would 100% watch that movie.
Bring it on.
Okay, so
it's just a nose. What's the big idea?
Well, that's what I want to explore with this in both the
freak.
Red nose, which makes him a freak, and the dentist, which makes him a freak, but I think is a euphemism. But so Santa comes in
Rudolph's a communist.
To inspect the new fawn. Rudolph knows it's Santa. He looks at him and goes, Santa. Oh, he's smart too. Anyway, but Rudolph's nose glows, and Donner's like, hey, I'm sure he's going to grow out of it. And Santa's like, you better, if he wants to join my sleigh team someday.
Santa.
Can't be different.
Gosh.
So this is a problem. Like that's what I'm getting at is he's different. It's going to become useful in a, need for the story kind of way, whatever they use it. What do they call that trope? It's a
MacGuffin?
Somebody's box. MacGuffin.
Rudolph is the MacGuffin.
Yeah. So, but anyway, so I don't understand why it's a problem, but it's nonconformity. They use that word and misfit, and there's a whole song about it. Mm-hmm. But Santa explains that each year he shines up his jingle bells for 8 lucky reindeer. Jingle, 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 you will hear my sleigh bells ring. I am old Kris Kringle, I'm the king of jingling. Jingle, jingle, reindeer, through the frosty air they'll go.
If you would like to hear more of Jimmy singing Christmas songs, please call 856 Our Ears and tell them that you would like to purchase the special edition Jimmy's Christmas songs. And they'll say, so you want to book a vacation with Jimmy? And you'll say, yes, please. And then if you ask kindly, he might do that for you on the phone.
And then he just leaves, doesn't even say goodbye. He just sings it, and he just walks out the cave.
I hope that's how he says goodbye all the time.
He sings that song and walks out of the room.
It's like, okay, Santa, you don't have to do it. You don't have to do it every time. Just, you can go. It's late.
Great party,
I'm
guys.
just going to say goodbye for you. You don't have to say anything. We know where we can find you.
Jingle, jingle.
Santa.
But then it's really cute because then Rudolph, as he leaves the cave, Rudolph goes, bye-bye.
No.
It's very cute.
Rudolph.
And then if Santa forgets his hat or something, he has to come back in.
Oh, no.
Like, damn it. I have to wake
jingle,
up early.
Jingle, jingle.
Okay, I got it. Can you do this in the sleigh on your ride home?
So Donner decides that Santa's right, and he'll never make the sleigh team with his red nose, and he decides to cover it up with, like, the ground? Like
reindeer.
It's
Yeah.
It totally is.
Smell this. Freak.
It totally is. They're in a cave full of deer. But it's very clay-like, so it's older poop. Mm-hmm. And then Sam the Snowman starts a little montage by telling us that the Donners did a pretty good job at hiding Rudolph's nonconformity.
Without eating him.
I know. I went straight to Donner Party again.
Oh, God.
The Donners did a pretty good job of
hiding their nonconformity.
Yeah.
So Donner teaches Rudolph.
I mean, cannibalism is about as nonconformist as you can get.
Exactly.
Agreed.
Take that, hipsters. Take that.
Donner teaches Rudolph all the ins and outs of being a reindeer, how to get food, how to fight off enemies, things like that. But most important of all is how to avoid the abominable snow monster of the north. He's mean, he's nasty, and he hates everything to do with Christmas. Wait a minute. Dan is the abominable snow monster.
Kyle, I know you think cannibalism's cool, but like you just need to stop. Hop on your unicycle and like go do something else.
It's not the Donner Party. It's a lead reindeer. Don't ruin this for me. No, anyway, I'm just joking. So,
still gonna try.
It's fine. Sam yada yadas for a bit, but then it's just before Christmas. Everybody's getting ready for the big sleigh ride on December 24th. We fade in on Santa's workshop where we see a table full of little people making toys. You see, all the toys Santa delivers are made by these little people.
Jimmy, I think in the mythology you can just call them elves.
Just give me like half a second. You cut me off before I said the little people called elves.
Okay.
All the elves have a certain knack for toy making, all except for one misfit elf. Now, by the way, all the boy elves are wearing blue, all the girl elves are wearing pink, but then there's the head elf who wears green. And one might recognize this green outfit because it's the exact outfit that Buddy the elf from the movie Elf wears. A lot of
Oh.
that movie was inspired by this movie, and by
Right.
inspired, blatantly ripped off. And Rankin Bass lawyers came in, and they almost won, and that movie would not have been released.
Wow.
Oh.
Yeah, but
Whatever.
Favreau like fought hard for it and said I don't know how, nobody knows how it went away, but it just went away one day. But that
So
movie almost
Rankin
didn't
and
get
Bass
released.
they tried to deliver a cease and desist.
They
Yeah.
probably get so much in royalties. This movie's played all the freaking time.
Oh, they do, because guess what? I tried to find a free version of this movie or a version on some streaming service through which I would not have to pay $10 for, because I figured 1964 holiday classic, surely because of this, it's going to be like on Amazon Prime or something like that. Nope.
Nope.
You got to pay full price,
Yep.
I saw it on YouTube.
which
Unless
of course
you-
I did.
Unless you use one of my multiple copies of it, which I have, including the 50th anniversary edition, which has additional footage you didn't see.
Whoa.
What
More
is it?
primitive stop motion animation?
That's right.
Love it.
You see Rudolph's dick or something? Like,
Just in the director's cut. So anyway, the girls, the things, and they're making toys. So there's one little misfit, and his name is Hermie. Okay, so his character differentiation is he has a blonde little wisp of hair coming out of his hat, and he's clearly gay.
yeah, I'm not saying that that's not the case, but in fairness, let's say that he's an effeminate male.
Sure, and this is a legit question. I told you I might be problematic in this episode, but being a dentist, is that sort of a euphemism for being gay? He's a misfit. He's different. He's not welcome because he doesn't like to make toys. He doesn't like what he should like because he was born an elf.
I think that's
and so
what
he
it is.
should.
I think it's more like what he's wanting to do. They seemingly have no place for,
Yeah, because
given the very limited scope of what they're looking for.
if you substitute the phrase "make toys" or "doesn't like to
Yeah.
make toys" as
Yeah.
that's unnatural because you were born this way. You should want to make toys. You don't. You're different. You're not welcome here.
Right. And you could substitute make toys with play sports,
Sure.
or
could be.
and you could substitute interested in being a dentist with, wanting to look at the Disneyland guidebook constantly when you're at family gatherings and talk about Disneyland with your family.
Yeah.
And they
Hermie
go,
probably did that
Wouldn't
too.
you like to talk about sports? And then Hermie or you or whoever we're talking about, but certainly not me, says, no, not really. I don't care about sports. And then they say, okay.
I don't know, guys. I don't really think it's about being gay. It's just about being different. Period.
Yeah,
And
I
like
agree.
if they wanted
I agree.
if they wanted it to be about sexuality, I think it would have been a little more direct because it's
Not in 1964. An animated film in 1964. Listen, I don't think they were trying to make social commentary. I think they got there by accident.
I think,
Yeah.
honestly, behind the scenes, I did a little bit of research into this, and there were for 1964, a lot of very progressive, almost subversive people working on it. One of the writers was, I believe the head writer was pretty much a gay activist, and there was a lot of,
So maybe I'm right.
maybe you're right. I'm just putting the in fairness hat on, like taking, and a lot of this comes from me working in the environments that I have worked in
In the education industry.
in the education industry. Exactly. Where we mine the educations. I think it's fair to say that
In
he
a
is
way.
certainly an effeminate male character surrounded by characters who are very stereotypically masculine in a certain way.
Yeah.
because they're wearing blue.
Yeah.
Like we don't
Well, 'cause
honestly.
They have they have this really gruff that we're constructing
practice.
Yeah. I mean, Audrey, what are you thinking? Are we both off?
No, you guys you're not off. I think we're just preoccupied. Maybe a little
think in
too much
19
with like male, feminine.
Right. I mean, we're watching it with the eyes that we have. You know?
Right. That's trtrue. Like, what did you think of it when you watched it for the first time? When I watched it for the first time, I was just like, oh, he's a little different. Brain.
Absolutely. 100%.
For sure.
And
he
I
has
think
to be, for a kid brain to process the fact that he's different. He has to look different. He has to sound different.
And the movie is on his side and on Rudolph's side.
True.
It's not like, look at this queer. It's nothing like that. It's just, it's just in 1964, I think an adult audience in 1964 who knew what to look for someone would probably see themselves in that, and in a somewhat positive, inclusive way.
Yeah.
Sure.
So where it gets problematic is when I do impressions of this movie and these characters, like he says, I'd like to be a dentist.
Jimmy, I have a way around this. Just do it as the Mad Hatter.
I don't have much more than that. Anyway, so the lead elf's like, you're an elf and elves make toys. It's time for break, but not for Hermie. He needs to finish his job.
Speaking of break, Jimmy, speaking of break, you know what I'd love to hear?
What?
I'd love to hear a commercial.
Ooh.
Do we have that on this stream?
Yep. It's break time for everybody but Hermie. So
Here
if you're
comes the
listening to the
commercial.
commercial, you're Hermie.
Straight from the commercial factory.
Hello. I am a baby. By that, I mean the New Year's baby. I have a diaper and a rattle. Goo. Goo. Bar bar. Binky. I am here to remind you that Axe body spray is still the #1 body spray to totally make the babes all gooey for your wiener. Just one whiff and they'll think you're hotter than John Stamos arm wrestling several other John Stamoses. In fact, you should wear twice as much of it. Especially if you are in middle school because, nothing is more sexy than an unwashed alpha male bro who is doused. And I mean doused. With a heavy, second skin style glaze of Axe body spray. Try their newest fragrance, Red Pill Gamer. It is a gnarly remix of last year's best-selling flavor, Extreme Toxic Masculinity. If you don't, I'll tell Kylie you think she has a tail. But you're into that kind of thing. I also won't invite you to my birthday party. Also, if you would like to hear more cool and real ads like this, email Jason at earsup-podcast.com and tell him to let his nephew take over advertising. Really? I want you to actually do that. It will be funny. Goo. Happy New Year, homies.
Ooh, that was so good.
That was good. I would totally want to buy the good.
I want to buy it 5 times.
And we're back. When I was a kid, I wanted to be a dentist. I don't know if this movie has anything to do with that, but I, instead of dentistry, which had a lot of cool tools and dongles and things, I ended up getting makeup brushes. So I have a lot of cool tools and dongles and things.
But you made up bride's teeth, so you're kind of a dentist.
It's like face dentistry.
Exactly.
You're a face dentist. That's what you should.
There you go.
Change your cards.
Exactly.
I'm a face dentist.
So then he sings a little song, a little misfit preamble. You can't fire me. I quit. I don't fit in. I'm a misfit. And meanwhile, Rudolph is trying to fit in too. His dad puts on his little nose cover and Rudolph doesn't like
a condom.
He says it's not very comfortable, just like a condom.
No.
And Donner says, there are more important things than comfort, like self-respect.
Yeah, it's a little inverted message there,
But now that he's got the nose cover, Santa can't object to you now. And then he leaves, and then Rudolph finishes where Herbie left off.
He doesn't say it in that like hubba hubba kind of voice. That you just
Santa can't object to you now.
Show him them gams. And
I made that nose even bigger.
Santa's fucking his reindeer.
That's why he doesn't have any kids.
That's why. Oh, God. He is really excited to inspect the new team. He's all irritated with the elf choir because he wants to go check out his new baby deer.
Santa, why don't you
let's wrap this up.
So I dress up like a reindeer.
Then Rudolph finishes where Hermie left off.
Why this is our dirtiest episode.
Just because my nose glows, why don't I fit in? And by fit in, he means Santa. Time passes, Christmas comes and goes on schedule, and soon it is April, when all the new fawns meet the other new fawns and get inspected by Santa. Rudolph that's what he sounds like when he said it. Rudolph reluctantly joins the others and meets Fireball, another fawn with a tuft of blondish red hair. Fireball decides that Rudolph can be his buddy. Then they go off to join the reindeer games. Fireball explains that reindeer games make antlers grow, and it's a great way to show off in front of the does.
Mm-hmm.
And by the way, when you're talking about progressive, this doe flirts with Rudolph. She makes the first move. She gives him a kiss. So, 1964, that's pretty slutty.
I mean, she sounds way older than Rudolph to me. Like, she sounds like she could be, robbing the cradle a bit.
Yes, she does. She really does. She sounds like, hey, Rudolph, what's up?
She does sound mature. And also girls mature faster than boys anyway. So
that's true.
She already has her antlers, if you know what I'm saying.
What are you saying? God. Don't answer that.
Rudolph, you should just come by and clean the pool sometime.
It's frozen because we live in the North Pole, but I still like to see in the Speedo.
Apply Windex to the ice. I like to see my reflection in it.
Meanwhile, the elves.
Oh, to be young again.
Meanwhile, the elves are busy. Christmas is over, but they're busy with elf improvements. Elf improvement. Cut to elf choir practice. They're going to perform a song for Santa called "We Are Santa's Elves."
It's a protest song.
Yeah. So only somebody who's watched this 1,000 times would catch this, but the head elf in the green, he's the one that, hey, you elves make toys. And then when he conducts the choir, he sounds like this. It's for Santa and the wanna and the tua.
Ho, that is a nice touch.
We are Santa's elves. We are Santa's elves.
Now available on 2 CD-ROMs. It's Jimmy singing all of your favorite classics. Call 856-OUR-EARS to secure your copy.
And make sure to tell them that you want it specifically on a CD-ROM.
We don't like to brag.
We just made the switch from floppy disks to CD-ROMs.
Santa knows
so I'm not sure how that technology is going to work out. But
he won't forget you.
Also available on wax tubes.
Ho, 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 ho. We are Santa's elves. Ho, ho!
Bravo.
Hey.
At the end of the song, Santa says, "It needs work," and he leaves because he wants to inspect the new deer. And then the lead elf back in his old voice says, "It was terrible. The tenor section was weak." And then another one's like, "Well, it's because Hermie wasn't here." And then they cut to Hermie.
Nice tenor voice.
He's working on a doll's teeth. And then "Why weren't you at elf practice?" "Just fixing these dolls' teeth." "Now listen, we have dolls that cry, talk, walk, blink, and run a temperature. We don't need any chewing dolls." "I just thought I'd find a way to fit in." But I thought he quit earlier.
We don't know.
"You'll never fit in. You come to elf practice where you learn to wiggle your ears and chuckle warmly and go hee-hee and ho-ho and important stuff like that.
Jimmy, I think what actually happened is the previous editor quit. And so, yeah. So someone else came in. They're like, I guess he's still there. I don't know.
Yep. So, well, he still lives there. He can quit his job and he's trying to find a way to fit in. And anyway, so he's like, he thinks he's never going to fit in. He's right. I'm on my own. He leaves. And then we go back to elf practice where, Rudolph and Fireball notice that the does, and one of them likes Rudolph. They do some blinky flirting. Just then, Comet enters. He's also from the song.
Yes.
Comet is the coach and for their reindeer games. His job is to make bucks out of these yearlings. They start with a reindeer game called Takeoff, which is where they try to fly into the wind and audition effectively to pull Santa's sleigh one day. Mm-hmm. Comet chooses Dasher's little boy to go first. Doesn't go well. They all laugh at him. But it was his first try. So they won't get to Rudolph for a while yet. So he takes the opportunity to go flirt with the doe. Her name is Clarice. She observes that Rudolph's nose, it's a little weird, and he talks a little funny, but she doesn't mind. Rudolph offers to walk her home after practice, and she consents. She thinks he's cute and gives him a little kiss.
Honey, I've seen all kinds of noses, honey. Yours is no different.
Some of them go to the left. Some of them are a little skinny.
Some of them light
go
up.
to the left. At least yours doesn't. Never mind. This excites Rudolph. She said I'm cute. Ah! And he flies away and he lands, and it was really great. She's flying around. It was magnificent, and Santa's really proud and impressed. And then the other reindeer's like, whoa, that's awesome. And then Fireball's like, hey, you're okay. And they start play fighting. And then Rudolph's little nose condom comes off, and his shiny nose glows and hits the fan hard.
It also whistles. His nose kind of makes like a...
Yes, it whistles, yes. Yeah. And then Comet throws down his baseball hat, which he's wearing. And he says, right, now all you reindeer go take showers and judge each other's bodies.
Yeah, so this outrages everybody, and like they start calling him names like Schnoz. Stop calling me names. That's from the song. Mm-hmm. And one of them says, Rudolph the red-nosed reindeer. And then Comet sees it. He's like, ah! That's what he sounds like, Don Knotts. He's like, what's happening here, Bar? Wow! And then Santa's like, you should be ashamed of yourself, Donner. And then everybody's like, all right, back to the game. So he's like, except you. From now on, kids, we're not going to let Rudolph join in any reindeer games. Except he's like, we're not going to let Rudolph join in any reindeer game, right?
That's in the song too.
That's in the song.
That's in the song.
I just realized that if this movie were made like now, it would be unwatchable because of that. It would just be like it's very heavily sprinkled in. The like it's part of the song is very, very, very heavily sprinkled in. But it would be unmanageable if it was made now. It would just be like,
I don't know.
Hey, let's.
It could work. It's only 56 or so minutes long.
It would work, but now it would be like deadpan to the camera, kind of.
It would be like that, like, huh? Get it? Mm-hmm. Like waiting for everyone in the audience to go, where here it's just like they drop it and keep going.
I mean,
as a matter of course, this is where the song came from.
Right.
Yeah, the time it takes to make a stop motion animation anything is crazy compared to like computer animation stuff. And the price, I feel like it's cheaper now to make more and more of those like crappy Trolls musical holiday movies.
Oh, yes.
Just churn them out. Then say, for example, Leica, which does, Kubo and the Two Strings, which is a huge project and looks and feels so much higher quality than anything else that you see these days.
Right.
My 2 cents.
I also know that reference.
Yes, thank you. One of us has to. I saw a sort of a Santa Claus is Coming to Town origin story of sorts called Klaus.
I loved that movie.
It was really good. It was very well done.
Very, very good. And that's 2D animation with like a cool algorithm over top of so it looks 3-dimensional. Amazing. Got to watch it. It's on Netflix.
It's really good. Yep.
Klaus?
Rudolph sucks. No, he sulks and he runs off. Clarice catches up to him. She thinks he has a handsome nose. You said you were going to walk me home.
You forgot your pants.
So he's like, are you going to make fun of me like everybody else? And she's like, I think it's a handsome nose, different from everybody else's. That's what makes it so grand. It's better than that silly false one you were wearing. Mm-hmm. Any doe would consider herself lucky to be with you.
That's a very nice
And then
thing
she sings,
said.
There's always tomorrow. Tomorrow for dreams to come true. Tomorrow is not far.
I think we should just let him do it on this one.
We all pretend. But this is one of those songs that has nothing to do with the rest of the story.
Yeah, it's true.
It's like, it feels like one of those songs at the end of Belle's Magical World.
Yeah.
You know, the episodic stuff where it's like, time to wrap up this scene. Here's the song about it.
Yeah, and it feels very much like a jukebox musical. Like all these songs existed before, and they just kind of threw them in. Like Silver and Gold was not from this movie. You know what I mean?
Oh.
I assume. But like Singing in the Rain, that was a jukebox musical. Singing in the Rain was not from Singing in the Rain. It was from a different musical.
Oh,
okay.
This is like the Moulin Rouge of its day.
Which people have said for years.
Yes. So anyway, after the song, Clarice's father breaks them up and says, "No dough of mine will be with a red-nosed reindeer." And so she leaves, and then he's like sulks on a little snowbank. And then just then, Hermie pops out and says, "Is this your snowbank?" And then they're like, "I'm a dentist, but I don't need anybody because I'm independent." And Rudolph's like, "Me too." And they're like, "Let's both be independent together."
Hold on.
Which
Can
I
I
thought
try
was
out a
funny.
joke real quick? Because teeth, you know, they have their dentin is a type of, it's a material in your teeth. And if you have a cavity, then he'd be indented. Get it? Is it allowed to dig out the dentin in your tooth?
Maybe we could both be independent together.
Indentin.
Which I thought is very clever.
Oh,
It's getting
bird.
cold.
It's freezing in
cold.
here. I wish I had some hot chocolate.
So Rudolph's like, you won't mind my having a red nose? Not if you don't mind me being a dentist. And then they sing, "We're a couple of misfits. We're a couple of misfits. Kind of misfits. We..." Anyway, which is interesting because that was the original song in 1964, but in 1965 they changed the song and some of the animation to "Fame and fortune, fame and fortune.
What?
We've had it somehow." You can watch it on YouTube.
Not gonna.
Oh,
Fame and fortune. And that's the way it existed until 1995.
fame and
They-
fortune?
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
It's
the
same
whole
basic
movie.
animation.
The whole movie is the word familiar in capital letters. So, like, both of those songs sound extremely familiar to me, but I'm not sure which one I remember seeing as a kid, you know?
Yeah,
Was it
as a
Fame
kid,
and
you probably
Fortune?
saw Fame and Fortune. As an older person, probably We're a couple of misfits. But I grew up with Fame and Fortune. Yep.
Which one did you grow up with? Call in today and let us know.
856 hour
856.
Anyway,
Tag
they sing
me on
the song.
Instagram.
It was 1998 when it was returned back to the original,
Hold
which
on,
is
I'm getting.
We're a couple
I
of
mean,
misfits.
by hold on, I mean keep talking. But I'm getting Fame and Fortune
Okay.
as we speak.
They set off to a scary new world where they encounter the abominable snow monster. He must see Rudolph's nose. It's a chilling scene. I was very scared of this as a child.
Yeah.
And then we cut to commercial.
He's a
That's where
fearsome
we should put an
Yeti.
ad. You know when we do these, Dan, and we know they're episodic and it's like cut to commercial, that's when we should inject commercials.
Mm.
Because this is obviously made for TV, so there are at least three commercial breaks. But
Okay, so at this point, you will either hear our actual ad, or you will hear a fake one,
Oh yeah, fake one, because we already did our actual ad.
or vice versa.
Yep, that one.
We have one more act for you this evening. I don't even need to say his name. Mr. Bob Dylan.
From the director of Walk the Line and Ford vs. Ferrari.
If anyone is going to hold your attention on stage, you have to kind of be a freak.
And starring Timothy Chalamet as Bob Dylan.
Are you a freak? Hope so. Once upon a time, you're just so fine.
Inspired by the true story.
I want to know which side he's on.
This Christmas.
They just want me singing Blowing in the Wind for the rest of my life.
Bobby, what do you want to be?
Whatever it is they don't want me to be.
He defied everyone.
Turn it down!
Play loud!
To change everything.
He's our Elvis.
With no direction.
Timothy Chalamet, Edward Norton, Elle Fanning, Monica Barbaro.
Make some noise, BD. Track some mud on the carpet.
A Complete Unknown. Only in theaters Christmas Day. Rated R. Under 17, not admitted without parent.
Anyway, so somehow Rudolph and Hermie make it through the first night. And then we see Yukon Cornelius, the greatest prospector in the North. He is in search for gold and silver. Silver and gold! He throws his pickaxe in the air, and this is fame and fortune.
Oh, is this your snowbank?
See what I'm saying?
Who are you?
Well, actually, I am a dentist.
A dentist?
Well, I want to be someday.
Yoko Ono, please don't sue us.
Right now, I'm just an elf.
As long as we're talking
I don't need anybody.
Which we have been.
I'm independent.
I'm indented.
Yeah? Me too. I'm...
It's good.
Whatever you said. Independent.
And a little glass ball breaks and they get scared.
Both be independent together, huh?
You wouldn't mind
Nailed that impression, by the way.
Red
You did a great job.
And there's the whistle.
Not if you don't mind me being a dentist.
Hold on.
So those
It's
people
a
dogs
deal.
are about to write in. You just save the laugh.
Fame and fortune, we're off to seek them now.
This is, oddly enough, this is the song we, all three of us sing before we start recording.
That's right.
And I never knew where it came from.
Yep. It's ingrained in you.
We
Won't stop until we find a way to fame and fortune. Fame and fortune. We will someday. Which also has nothing to do with this movie, their motivations or anything at all. But
it reminds me of Titanic, Tip, and Daring Dash, Adventurers, Dash, Explorers, which is from our favorite movie that we've watched, The Little Mermaid 2.
That's right. Oh my gosh, I remember that. Okay, so we meet Yukon Cornelius. He's the greatest prospector in the North. He's after gold and silver, silver and gold. He throws his pickaxe in the air and licks it. Nothing. Then we cut to Sam, who's like, what do you think of our new friend? And then he sings the song Silver and Gold.
I think he's pretty...
Silver and gold, silver and gold.
If you'd like to save silver and or gold or crypto, depending on how you invest your money, you could right now call 856 Our Ears. And when someone answers, just play them this. And then you say, hi, I'd like to plan a trip to Disneyland, Walt Disney World, or possibly Gator World. Most likely one of the two first ones. And I would like to save silver and gold. And then you make a little winking sound. You go, wink. And then they'll say, that was clever. Let me connect you with somebody.
Brilliant. Good job. Fantastic.
Thank you. Thank you.
What I love about this song is the squirrel biting the chunk of gold and then making an angry face because it must have been
gold.
fool's gold.
It was real gold. Where the
it must be fool's gold, right? Because he can't bite into it.
Well, and
is this
also,
the one where... Go ahead.
Sorry, it was just it reminds me of Legos. You know, sometimes you have that one little Lego piece that's like shiny. No, the way the gold is animated, it looks like a little Lego piece, like a gold foil Lego piece.
Yeah, totally.
Anyway,
is this the one where the squirrels and rabbits are the chorus? That they
yes, that is the
which
one
I found delightful.
I think that it might be the We All Pretend the Rainbow Has an End. That's the Clarice's song, I think, is when.
Oh, okay. I mean,
I've only
which
watched
is actually funnier
twice today. But back to Hernie, Rudolph, and Yukon and his dog sled team, and the dogs are not good at dog sledding. Goodness. Yukon says he's off to get. This is funny. I never, until I watched today, I had no idea what he said. But here's what he says: I'm off to get life-sustaining supplies, cornmeal and gunpowder and ham hocks and guitar strings. I'll give you a lift. Life-sustaining supplies.
This guy has the best Bumble profile I've ever seen. I mean, he's a self-made man. He has a beard. He probably catches fish. He plays guitar because he needs guitar strings. Cornmeal, vegetarian. Oh, never mind. Swipe
Ham
left.
hocks. But he also talks a lot about Bumble.
Right.
So the dogs don't mush very well, so he shows them how. But just then they encounter the abominable snow monster and they give chase. Rudolph's nose keeps giving them away. So they run off and come to a dead end at a northern sea of sorts. So Yukon cuts off a little piece of land, like Iceland. And he says, "Do it yourself iceberg." Because he knows the Bumble's one weakness. Bumble sinks. So they float off to who knows where.
I like the water. The water is like a piece of plastic and it looks terrible. But also they float along. Things.
Yeah. The animation in general makes me happy. And I mean this and it's in a Christmas movie. So that's a reach.
Because the abominable snow monster sinks below that plastic. Like that was a tough shot, I would assume.
I think honestly that's what I was while I'm watching this, I'm thinking of course have Nightmare Before Christmas like to the side in my brain,
Oh, yeah.
And I think that a lot of what could have happened there, I think, the idea of stop motion and all that, they latched onto that, and some of the stylistic choices are really more Tim Burton than anything. But I think, they could have made it a lot more jumpy on purpose, and they could have made it a lot cheaper on purpose, I think.
Yeah.
Oh.
I mean, especially because it was made for TV.
Right.
And, of course, I think it's the most famous secret that Tim Burton didn't actually direct that movie.
Right. Well, and there's no character arc either. That's another secret.
Well, that's different. That's different podcast for a different day.
Right.
Then we're back at the Donner's cave. Mr. Donner feels pretty bad about what he did to Rudolph, so he sets off to find him. Mrs. Donner wanted to go, of course, but Donner says, "No, this is man's work." So no sooner than the man of the house leave, Clarice came in. Like, he walks out of the cave, she walks in. Like, they had to like run into each other to get past each other.
Yes.
And then they set off. So they're maybe 5 feet away from Donner. He's
an oaf. He's a doofy husband.
Yeah.
He doesn't know
and
what's
she
going on.
deliberately disobeys her husband. So again, progressive. Anyway,
actually,
so
for 1964, it actually is. It's so messed up, but it really is.
Yeah, he's like, no, and like within 90 seconds, they're following him. Not even 90, 20. Yeah. Anyway, so they cut back to the people. They're floating on Yukon, and the gang are floating on their little iceberg. And he says, "The fog is thick as peanut butter." And then Hermie says, "You mean pea soup. You eat what you like, and I'll eat what I like." Yeah! And they hit
Cornelius. He's the best.
No kidding. Anyway, so the fog has cleared, and they see a flying lion soaring through the sky. Flying lion.
I want to see it too. Flying lion.
Nope, flying lion. But flying lion's better.
It's the Griffin Underwriting Services logo. Mm-hmm. We're here to save the day and sell you insurance.
Yeah, what a dummy. It's a griffin. What a dumb guy. They see a griffin.
No, griffin is part something else, isn't it?
Chicken?
I think so.
Probably.
Anyway, it's a lion with wings, and they're impressed. But then they got stopped by a jack-in-the-box. He's the sentry. He says they're on the island of misfit toys. They guess his name. Let me guess. Jack. And he says, "No, Charlie. That's why I'm a misfit toy. My name is all wrong."
Which is legitimately funny.
It is.
That's really funny.
Like, yeah.
"No child wants to play with a Charlie in the box, so I had to come here." Where's here? "We're on the island of misfit toys."
If you, last time you went to Disneyland or Disney World, if you felt like you were on the island of misfit toys and were sad because you thought Goofy's Bounce House was going to be open or something, you can no longer feel like you could feel like you're on the island of winter toys if you call 856 our and to call 856 our ears, and they are the island of winter toys who can help you be a cool person. And they would tell you
Christmas Day
what
is here,
rides
the most
suck
wonderful
unless you like
day
them, and then
of
they'll
the
say,
year.
I actually like that too.
Toys galore,
Plot
scattered
twist.
on
It's just a
the
Tuesday morning.
floor. There's no room
It's a
for
Marshall's
more,
clearance bin, okay?
and
These
it's
things
all
are
because
messed
of
up.
Santa Claus.
Of course,
so
no one
here are
bought
some
them.
of the. I would like to explain some of the misfit toys that we see. One, of course, is a Russian doll clown who has a wind-up mouse at its core. That's a misfit toy.
Makes a lot of sense.
How would you like to be a spotted elephant?
Or a choo-choo with square wheels on your caboose. Or a water pistol that shoots jelly.
Now,
We're
here's the
all
thing.
misfits.
All of these toys were supposedly made in Santa's workshop. And
I mean,
so,
in theory, yeah. But
yeah, was he like on shrooms or drunk or like?
And by the way, couldn't you just empty the jelly and put water in it?
Right.
Yeah.
You know?
It's a watertight vessel, apparently. I bet Hermie made all these toys and cursed them to a life of...
That might, oh my gosh.
A life
By the
of
way, if anyone who wants to
sadness.
shoot jelly out of a gun, go to Knott's Berry Farm. Knott's Berry Tales. Shoot coyotes.
Oh, but we will be on the ground coverage.
Oh, we will.
The biggest festival on earth.
Yes, the Boysenberry Festival.
Yes.
So wait,
mark your calendars.
Audrey will talk
Audrey,
to you
you'll be
about
there.
it.
You'll be there. We're going to do some on the ground reporting.
I love this so much. Let's get somebody to film it.
No,
We'll interview people
right there. We're right there. That's the vision. That's the
I
vision.
have a friend who is an incredible director, an incredible film producer.
Oh my god.
We can pull it off. I think he would do it for cost. And I'll talk to
Let's
him
get
about
a
it. We can make a movie
GoFundMe
out of
going.
it.
We can get Hillary. We can get Hillary.
We get Hillary's, but he lives in LA. Like, it'd be super easy for him, and he owes me a favor.
Oh my god, that'd be awesome.
But I do like the whole RECU, like the Rudolph Extended Cinematic Universe, where there's a whole other thing where Hermie's making all these toys in rebellion because he hates
apparently all of the Rankin, maybe not apparently, but the Rankin Bass Christmas movies are meant to be set in the same universe, or at least at some time that was considered.
It makes sense because if you think about like Rudolph Shiny New Year, it's the same actor that plays Rudolph. There's a lot of Paul Frees in these. In fact, Paul Frees plays Santa Claus in the Frosty the Snowman animated, and in the Santa Claus is Coming to Town, which is the origin story for Santa Claus. Yeah, it's exactly what it sounds like.
Oh God, really?
Yeah. So in Santa Claus is Coming to Town, which came out after this, it's the origin story for Santa Claus, and they talk about the reindeers' names. And then one of the kids is like, don't forget. And it shows a picture of Rudolph and meep, the little light. Nope, that's a different story. Anyway, how would you like to be a bird who doesn't fly? I swim. Remember that for the end credits. Or a cowboy who rides an ostrich. Or a boat that can't stay afloat. We're all misfits. And then there's the dolly. All right?
Yeah.
What's wrong with
What's
her?
wrong with the dolly? And hear me out. And this is, again, very problematic. But she sings a part. Wake up. Don't you know that it's time to come out?
I don't. Yeah, I guess. I mean, if you're looking for it, it's there.
Yeah.
I read about it. I think that the story is that she is not happy. She's a very sad doll. Like she's always sad. She's always crying. Yeah. And I think that I read the author or one of the writers explain that's why she's given up, because she's not a happy dolly, and dollies are supposed to be happy.
Yeah.
Oh. Anyway, at the end of the song, Rudolph observes that they're also misfits and perhaps they can stay on the island. And then Charlie says, that's up to King Moonrazer. He's holding court in the castle right now. But he flies all over the world. Yeah. King Moonrazer?
Yeah.
So he flies all around the world, and when he finds a toy that no boy or girl loves, he brings it to the island. So the gang has to appeal to him. And then we cut to Moonrazer's court. He's the flying lion. He's the thing from before.
Griffin.
He asks,
same voice as Santa.
How terrifying would it be as a toy? Like, imagine in the movie Toy Story, you're just like, I'm just a toy living my life. And like, well, I guess I'm a little strange. Everything's fine. All of a sudden, oh my God, a lion He's coming to take me away. And he like
Come
puts
with
his
me,
claws.
you freak.
You're like, I don't want to go. And then he drops you on a godforsaken chunk of ice in the middle of the North Pole. Like how
You live here now, ugly. Haha. I love you, by the way. Stop crying. Oh, that's your thing? Okay. Well,
they all have
cry
Stockholm
more, I guess.
syndrome.
I don't know how to encourage this.
I mean, I've tried getting more exercise, but nothing helps for my depression.
Have you tried more protein in your diet?
What I liked about him is his voice is echoed, like because he's in this big giant court, so his voice sounds very godly. You know, come closer. What do you desire?
Here,
Anyway,
let's try that
like,
again. I'll do the echo. You say that. Say his line.
Come closer.
Closer, closer, closer.
What do you desire?
Desire. Is that good?
Kind of like
that.
that.
Good?
Yeah,
nailed it.
All right,
you nailed it.
Thank you.
So they're like, hey, we're a couple of misfits from Christmas Town. Can we stay here? And he's like, no, that would not be possible. This island is for toys alone. Unlike a plaything, a living creature cannot hide on an island. But perhaps you can help the toys here. When someday you return to Christmas Town, maybe you can have Santa find little girls and boys who would be happy with them. Rudolph's like, yeah, if and when we ever get back, we'll tell Santa, sir. And he's like, you're free to stay the night. So then
in our lovely Airbnb.
Yeah, it's a really sweet little cabin.
Very
the toys
nice.
don't get to sleep in it. They have to sleep outside by the fire. But they're toys.
Yeah.
They're not living things. So they have
They're
a little...
not real, actually, but they
They're
kind of
sentient,
are,
but-
if you think about it. If you would like more information about it, you can call 856-R.
Our ears.
Do you like a happy dolly as opposed to a sad dolly? You can visit a happy dolly or her wood. That's right, Dollywood is also perhaps covered by concierge.
856
We're not
hour
really
ears.
sure.
So they get... No, it is, by the way. You can call 856 hours.
Okay, cool.
We won't get commission, but you can still do it. So that night, they're in a little cabin. It's a very cute little setup. The three of them basically fit in the cabin, and that is all. They're on one little bed. It's very cute. And Rudolph's like, hey, no, I can't stay because my nose is going to give us away and the abominable's going to keep chasing us. And they're like, nope, it's settled. We're sticking together. Lights out. And they immediately fall asleep. But Rudolph does not. So he's like, I'm out. In the best interest of his friends, he sets off alone. And as he drifts off to say goodbye to Yukon, he says, I hope you find lots of tinsel. Whatever a dentist is, I hope someday you're the best. And then the distant rumble of the Bumble, the abominable snow monster.
He's a lot cuter looking than he sounds. He sounds horrifying, but he's
I was
pretty.
scared of him when I was a kid.
Yeah,
especially when he loses his teeth.
Cool.
Spoilers.
That was cool. I didn't scare him.
Yep. Yeah, but I believe it.
Really badass.
Time passed
totally
slowly.
badass.
Rudolph existed as well as he could. The snow monster kept him on the run, but he would meet a friend or two, but it would be short-lived. Along the way, Rudolph was growing up, and he realized he can't run away from his troubles, and so he sets off for home. That's right. So when he arrives home, the other reindeer greet him, it's old Neon Nose, but he doesn't care. He's grown up. He doesn't bother him anymore. So he gets to his cave. Mom, Dad. And then Santa's like, they're out looking for you. And Clarice, she's gone
Neon
too,
Nose.
Rudolph. Schnoz. Hey, Schnoz.
Loser.
She's gone too, and I'm worried because Christmas Eve is only 2 days off. And without Donner, I'll never be able to get my sleigh off the ground. So Rudolph's like, I'm going to find them all. And he leaves. But just as he leaves, it hit. The storm of storms. This is the one that was reported by the newspapers at the beginning of the movie.
Boom.
There it is. He knew that he had to find his folks right away. And he knew he had to go to the cave of the abominable snow monster. Dun, dun, dun. So the rest of the movie goes real fast.
Yeah, I like the part where the little igloo gets blown over.
Yeah, the little Eskimos are tumbling away. And the shingles all come off the ceiling and all that. Anyway. Okay, so he goes to the cave. When he gets to the cave, the monster's like about to eat Clarice. And he's like, leave her alone. And then he knocks Rudolph out cold.
Which is almost word for word a line from Alien 2.
Leave her alone.
Leave her alone, you bitch.
Oh, that's right. And then we cut to commercial. After commercial,
Do you have heartburn?
Yep.
Just stick some of this down your gut. Tums.
And we're back. So after the commercial break, Sam explains that Yukon and Hermie arrived just as Rudolph left and the storm hit, and they set off to find Rudolph. They arrive at the cave to hatch a plan. Here's the plan. They will lure the monster out of the cave with a pork dinner. Hermie's going to imitate a pig. And then Yukon will drop ice blocks to knock him out, and Hermie will use his dentist skills to remove all his teeth to render him useless. That's precisely what happens. And now they don't need to fear the Bumble because Yukon shows them how, because he doesn't have any teeth. And then he pushes him off a cave, out of the cave, off a cliff. And they're like, Yukon! Yukon, the Bumble, and all the dogs are presumed dead. They all head back home.
I think Chris Pratt would make a really great Yukon Cornelius.
Yukon, totally. So they were all sad by the loss of their friend, but they all knew the best thing that they had to do was get the women back to Christmas Town.
That's good.
Exactly what it says.
Yes.
Yep. And
they can't
sorry,
survive.
in case there's anyone listening to this that is in a position to do so, when we say Chris Pratt would make a really good Cornelius, we're not saying you need to make a live action version of this.
I'm saying we do need to. Yes.
We're not saying that.
Give it the Cats treatment. J.K.
Make it 90 minutes.
He's playing Rudolph.
3 more songs, original songs. J.K. Simmons is Rudolph.
Let's get the little kid from Jojo Rabbit to play Rudolph.
No, you're
Taika Waititi's in it.
You're right. But he doesn't direct it because we're going to give it the Cats treatment.
Yeah. So
it'll just get not okay.
What if we get Andrew Lloyd Webber to direct it?
Oh my god!
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
To rewrite all the songs.
R.I.P.
Steven. I was just thinking
the best. He changed the musical theater forever, and the best composer. And I'm see West Side Story on December 10th. Mm-hmm. Okay, so when they get back to Christmas Town, when everyone hears their story, they realize they were a little hard on the Misfits. Even Santa realizes that maybe he was wrong. Mm-hmm. Santa promises that as soon as the storm lets up, he will find homes for all the Misfit toys. And Hermie is allowed to open up a dentist office after Christmas.
And now all the elves are on nitrous.
That's right. They have a costume change. And Donner is also sorry about how he acted. Just then, there's a knock at the door. It's not a fit night out for man nor beast. Here's the man, and here's the beast. And he brings in the abominable snow monster, and he can help. He can put the star on the tree without a stepladder.
It was the teeth that made him bad.
That's right. And he doesn't die because Bumbles bounce.
Oh my gosh.
And it's too cold for him to bleed out, so it's fine.
That's right. Because it immediately freezes over.
It just freezes over.
As good as everyone feels, Christmas Eve is tomorrow, and they are all busy getting ready. As Mrs. Claus is trying to fatten up Santa, the latest weather report arrives. This confirms it. The storm is too bad, and everything is grounded. So Santa gathers the throngs to interrupt their song. They're singing the Santa's Elf song. I will not reprise it. Santa gathers the throngs to announce that Christmas is canceled and there's nothing he can do. But he can't get through the speech because Rudolph's nose is so bright and distracting. Wait a minute. That nose. That beautiful, wonderful nose. Christmas is not off, and Rudolph is going to lead the team. That nose can cut through the murkiest storm they can dish up. I guess what I'm trying to say is, Rudolph, with your nose so bright, won't you guide my sleigh tonight?
That's from the song.
Mm-hmm.
So,
and then Rudolph says, you.
How about no,
You've treated
asshole.
me like shit for years.
I've been waiting for this moment forever.
He says,
is it red light that travels the longest distance? So, I mean, if you're leading yourself, well, because I'm thinking if you had a red nose, like that isn't bright enough to guide your way. You need something a little bit cooler, right?
Unless that's all you have.
Yeah, I guess so.
Don't ignore me. Okay. Hey, Google. What color light travels the farthest? She very quietly said red light.
Okay, well then I'm a big knucklehead, dum-dum. Knock, knock.
Proven Rudolph right. So he says it would be an honor. And then Donner's like, I knew it would be useful all along.
Uh-huh.
Yeah,
Dipshit.
Yep. Then they prepare for Christmas Eve, and Sam sings Holly Jolly Christmas. Santa is now fat.
Yay. I mean,
Okay.
the singing part. Oh, it's all good.
Oh.
It's good.
What's it? It's have a holly jolly Christmas. It's the best time of the year. I don't know if there'll be snow, but have a cup of cheer.
Oh, it's the echo
Have
thing.
a holly jolly Christmas. And when you walk down the street, say hello to friends you know and everyone you meet. Yo ho, the mistletoe hung where you can see. Somebody waits for you. Kiss her once for me. Have a holly jolly Christmas.
Dreidel.
And in case you didn't hear, oh, by golly, have a holly jolly Christmas this year. And by the way, when he's singing that, the elves are effectively acting out the song.
Yes.
Like, yes. Kiss her once for me.
They're packing up the sleigh.
Right. Because
All
the
right.
slaves.
We're almost done. They load up the sleigh, prepare for takeoff. First stop, the island of misfit toys. And we cut to the island. The misfits are all waiting outside, but they're about to give up, go to sleep, and wish, dream till next year. And then they see a distant
sad
light.
Place.
It is very sad. Even
It's
the little
sad
paper fire
as
is sad.
AF.
Sad Dolly
sad
Sad Dolly has a bunch of pills in her hand.
That's right. Yeah. Jack.
Parents, if you're letting your children listen to this episode and you haven't intervened, you need to reconsider a lot of things.
So, yeah, Charlie can't get out of his box. It's Rudolph. They see the light. It's right. He kept his promise. The toys get loaded in the sleigh and they are off. And then Burlive says, as for the rest of the story, he went down in history. Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer. So they're singing the song. As the end credits play, the toys are given umbrellas. All the misfit toys are given umbrellas. Santa's evidently not landing on rooftops and dropping through chimneys.
Not for these toys.
That's a good point.
They're lesser toys, clearly.
So
what he's
happens,
doing them a favor.
As the credits are rolling, he's giving the elves are taking these misfit toys out of the bag, giving an umbrella so they float down to safety.
They're
all
killing
the
these toys by dropping them.
Hold on. Presumably they're okay because they have umbrellas. They'll float. They're lightweight. All of them except the bird. The bird doesn't get an umbrella. Remember, this is the bird who doesn't fly. He swims. That's why he's a misfit toy.
Swim through the air, stupid.
So he's the misfit who doesn't fly. He swims. Santa's elves murder a toy. The end.
Yep.
Oh my god.
That's
it's
it.
that kind of logic that makes these movies so special and funny. The worst thing that this elf could be is a dentist. Like, how funny is that?
Yeah, right.
And then also an elf just assuming that this bird can fly because it has wings.
Because he had an umbrella and looks at it, he's like, no, it's a bird. I'm putting the umbrella away.
Yeah,
Bye. I just want to hear the octaves.
So that bird did die. Like, there's no doubt about it.
Absolutely. Now he's a misfit in other ways.
Yeah.
Anyway, that's it. So we have just enjoyed this film. As we enjoy it again, we need to be drinking Rudolph's Red from Rivertown Brewing Company. This bold Imperial Red will light up your nose and let you enjoy a season of reindeer games. The hint of cinnamon in the finish will add another spike to your antlers. What shall we be eating with this delicious film?
Why, I'm so glad you asked. Can I take a one?
Venison.
Can I take Oh, that's so genius. Why didn't I think of that? Damn it. Dan. No. It's fine.
Wait,
you guys
we can edit it. We can edit it.
You're going to really enjoy. No. Keep it in. But we're going to have a delicious meal. Before we do that, I really, really, really have to say, I have to plug this guy on YouTube, Worthy Kids. I am not in cahoots with him at all, but he does animation in 2D and 3D in the style of Rankin Bass.
Sure.
And
Bass.
Oh, he's so talented, and all of his shit is so freaking cool and funny. And he does like a Star Wars one. Anyway, look him up. Worthy Kids.
What's it
YouTube.
called? Worthy Kids.
Worthy Kids with an I. What we're eating? We're gonna have raclette.
WIRLT.
WORTHI kids. Worthy Kids.
Kids has an I
kids.
too, so
you're right.
The kids with a Z.
I'm not good at spelling.
All right,
we're gonna have raclette, which is like fondue, but a little bit more work. You scrape hot melty cheese over pickles and boiled potatoes and charcuterie, or I guess venison would be very apropos. We're also going to have a bûche de Noël for dessert, which is one of those delicious chocolate roll
bûche
cakes.
Means mouth.
Bûche de Noël. Mouth. Noel.
Christmas mouth.
Christmas
mouth.
Hey, what's up, Christmas mouth?
But you know
That's
what?
one of the names that they had for Rudolph.
Everything's just going to have a slight hint of cigarette taste to it because everyone smokes indoors.
That's right. Their bûches all smell like smokes.
Yes. So a little bit smoky cheese, a little bit trash cigarette juice, bûche de Noël. Bon appetit.
Sounds delicious.
Yum.
Yeah. And since we're plugging YouTube, don't forget Pixie Archive. Check them out. I talked about them before, so you can listen to the previous episode where you can listen to me talk about them. So what we're listening to is Bing Crosby and David Bowie in maybe the weirdest moment ever committed to music. Oh, are you not familiar with this?
No. Oh, okay.
She has to.
So, no. It's a whole thing, and I've included the entire build-up because the exchange is phenomenally strange.
Will you play the whole thing? Can you play the whole thing? Talk about it?
Yeah, where they talk about it and everything. What I love about this, it's from a Bing Crosby holiday special, and David Bowie was in the middle of a tour after a very long period of him doing very strange things. And he was willing to appear to promote because he needed to do something to promote. And he was just like, yeah, I'll do this. It'll be weird, but whatever. And his attitude about it was very much like, yeah, Bing Crosby probably doesn't know who I am, or he's probably like not cool with my whole like thing, but that's fine. I'm into this. It's going to be really weird. And that's why I'm here. But he treats it totally seriously. And apparently Bing Crosby was not comfortable.
Oh,
you can hear it. Oh. And it's really good. And it goes a little something like this. So David Bowie comes to the door.
Hello. You the new butler?
Well, it's been a long time since I've been the new anything.
What's happened to Hudson?
I guess he's changing.
Yeah, he does that a lot, doesn't he?
The butler
I'm David Bowie. I live down the road.
Oh.
Sir Percival lets me use his piano when he's not around. He's not around, is he?
I can honestly say I haven't seen him, but come on in. Come in.
There's a cut.
Come on in.
Okay.
See?
Are you related to Sir Percival?
Well, distantly, yeah.
Oh, you're not the poor relation from America, right?
Ha! Gee, news sure
The most
travels
forced
fast,
laugh
doesn't
ever.
it? I'm Bing.
Oh, I'm pleased to meet you. You're the one that sings, right?
Well, right or wrong, I sing either way.
Oh, I sing.
Oh, good. What kind of singing?
Well, mostly the contemporary stuff. Do you,
children.
Do you like modern music?
Oh, I think it's marvelous. Some of it really fine. But tell me, you ever listen to any of the older fellas?
Oh, yeah, sure. I like John Lennon. And the other one with Harry Nilsson.
Yoko Ono, please don't.
Well, back that far, huh?
Yeah, I'm not as young as I look.
None of us is these days.
In fact, I've got a 6-year-old son. And he really gets excited around the Christmas holiday thing.
Do you go in for any of the traditional things in the Bowie household? Christmas
He has to
time?
remind himself what David Bowie's name is.
Really, presents,
The,
tree,
Bowie.
decorations, agents sliding down the chimney.
You say agents or
I was just
agents?
seeing if you're paying attention.
Agents.
Actually, our family do most of the things that other families do. We sing the same songs. Do you? I even have a go at White Christmas.
You too, huh?
And this one.
Pay up.
This is my son's favourite. Do you know?
Oh, I do indeed. It's a lovely thing.
This is so strange.
I know, it's
I can't
very
believe you
weird.
haven't heard this before.
Never.
It's like a little medley of Peace on Earth and Little Drummer Boy.
And from this point on, it's actually a pretty good song.
It's a good song.
But a very, very strange pairing.
Especially at the time.
Never liked Little Drummer Boy. It's my least favorite Christmas song. But
I've always oddly really liked it.
I don't like the rum pum
But I know it's very mid.
That's another Rankin Bass.
See? Oh, Audrey's lighting up on that one.
Oh, it's Bowie.
Yeah.
Aww.
Yeah. He's doing his Bowie thing to it.
I also love Bang. It's so smooth.
Yeah. I mean, there's things to be said about Bing, and one of them is that he's a very good singer.
Don't ruin this.
Okay, now it gets funky. Hold on. Here we go. This is a whole journey. It gets funky and oddly militant.
Every child must be made.
They must be.
Make children. Have
Make
baby.
children. Make love. Make love the Christmas.
Yes.
I don't know what that was. Okay, and that's what it does.
That's
In Russia, children make you.
Celebrate Christmas. Celebrate you.
That's very nice. That's going to be a lovely evening.
Oh yeah,
I think
that was
so.
fun.
Yeah.
That was fun. Thank you for indulging me. And this is Dealer's Choice.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
So last year, you may recall that our February release was the live action love story of the Princess Perry.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
And then we
iconic.
did Cats the Musical. That was Audrey's pick. So, and by the way, I haven't deviated from my obscure things. I would encourage you to not deviate from yours, Audrey.
Okay.
Meaning we also had requests for more musicals. So if you, as you think about it, you pick whatever you want, but if you pick another musical, that'd be okay.
It's probably the live action Peter Pan, the one with the woman. You know what I'm talking about.
The really old one.
Yes.
Oh God. The Mary Martin version that was aired
think
on
it's
NBC
that one.
And oh God.
All right.
All right.
So Dan for sure has decided for his, it is not Perry.
It is not going to be Perry. It is going to be a David Lynch movie, and
Yay.
I need to figure out what it's going to be, because Audrey, I think you're going to be fine, and Jimmy, I think you will be. I think there's a way to get you into David Lynch that is going to be more painless than not, and I think because there's some material in some of his movies that I think you'll. If you're not familiar with his style and comfortable with it, it'll just be a hard pass immediately. You'll just be like, I can't, no, thank you. So I don't think we can do Eraserhead. That falls into that category. I think Blue Velvet falls into that category. I think
Mulholland Drive
is going to be our best bet.
All right. Well, we'll make our final decision and you'll find out when you listen to it. I mean, it doesn't have to be January. We can get back to the sequels, but I think I like having December Christmas, January something else, February something else, back to Disney sequels in March.
Yeah.
It's good to have the break. So yeah, and so Jimmy, I think it is going to be
Mulholland Drive,
and I'm going to just let you know ahead of time. I think I should take care of the notes, and I'll do it Wikipedia style, because it's not going to be as complete, but I'm going to do it.
Oh, and I can
it's
just
going
watch
to take
it
you
and
out
make
of
notes.
What's that?
Well, what I was thinking is I'd watch the movie and just watch it, and then I'd go back and break it down.
You might not want. If that's how you want to do it, that's fine. But
we'll
I'm
see.
open
Let me
to
watch
other
it
things.
first.
We'll see. Yeah.
All right. We can decide. All right. Well,
Mysterious.
until then, we encourage you to listen to our other shows. That is The Supreme Resort, Ears Up in Depth, Banter, Milk Lemonade, Round the Corner Bantha Milk.
Yep.
Where there might be a crossover event happening very soon.
Ooh.
Yeah. And then, if you're listening to this, you probably also listen to Audrey Goes to Disneyland, which to date is our most downloaded episode across both Supreme Resort and Scraping the Vault. Combine those numbers, and it's been listened to more than any other show this year.
Yay!
So if you're listening to this, odds are you listen to that. But if you haven't, it's a very entertaining episode. And also, Concierge. I just booked a trip for a person named Rosie. I talked about her on Supreme Resort. Since booked the trip, and it turns out she also has a podcast about Disney parks. And they did a 2-part 6-hour episode on the Country Bear Jamboree. So they are
we still got to get to that.
And she is. We have to do that on the Supreme Resort. She is going to come on to our show. We're going to go on to her show. She's going to come and host guest judge the Small World episode. Look for that coming soon. And so Concierge, they're awesome. And you can reach us. I'm Jimmy at earsup-podcast.com. That's Dan at earsup-podcast.com. You can find Audrey at
1 North Pole Lane.
There you go.
And also at Nerdry on Instagram.
Nerdry or Scraping the Vault on Instagram.
Or Scraping the Vault.
Yeah. Awesome. Well, thank you very much. Thanks for indulging me. Everybody, hope you enjoyed. Have a Merry Christmas. Happy New Year. And we'll see you in January with some weird, obscure movie that Dan decides on.
Whee!
It's not that obscure.
I'm just teasing.
What do we always say at the end of our show?
Oh, yeah. Be kind.
Be kind and
rewind.
Ho, 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 ho.
What? Wait, hold on.
Fame and fortune, fame and fortune. We are so
Be kind and rewind.
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 Right now,
Hell yeah.
Saturday night at Costco,
Sick.
baby. Yeah.
How was it?
It was hot. It was so hot.
Ooh, Stevie.
And then we came back, dropped off our stuff, and then went over to their house.
Cool.
Yeah.
Did they have
But anyway, I
free
was so
samples
hungry.
going on?
No free samples at Costco at that time. It was, 6:30 on
wife swapping.
That's right. 6:30 on a Saturday. And then so they made chili, and they also make something called pimento cheese. Are you familiar with that?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
So they home make it, and it is insane. Like I could make a soup out of it. Like I would eat
Just
it
like
on anything.
Yeah.
So
I still haven't had the pimento cheese at the Riverbell Terrace.
Ooh, I want to go there.
Cheese
I love that place.
chasers.
Cheese chaser. Anyway, so then I put a hot dog in a bowl and a bun, squirted some mustard on it, topped it with a bunch of chili, and then topped it with pimento cheese, and then sprinkled Ritz crackers on top.
Oh, that's chili.
So good.
Chili is the sum of its parts, including toppings. If you don't have toppings for your chili, what are you fucking doing?
Well, it depends on the chili. Like I have
Tommy's.
chili, and I don't put it on. Oh, Tommy's. Oh my god.
No, God, ew.
Drooling.
Stuff is sludge.
And then chili, and then Yeah, I don't remember what I was going to. Oh, the sum of its parts, which should not include beans because that's not true chili.
I like beans in my chili.
I'm indifferent. A good chili is just a good chili, as far as I'm concerned.
That's fair. In fact, the one I make all the time.
This whole thing needs to be. This whole thing, and nothing else is going to be the Easter egg.
Great.
Let's talk about
fine.
chili. Any more thoughts about chili that we want to share?
Audrey ate 2.5 cups of it recently, so this
on
could
top
make
of
for
a
a very
salmon.
Which
bagel.
was the best one? You didn't
I
put the chili
voted,
on top of a salmon bagel.
No, but it'd be interesting to
I
try.
think chili and salmon, seafood chili, I don't think is a good idea.
I think
That'd
it's a
be more
very
like
good idea.
gumbo.
It'd be like gumbo or cioppino, which is Italian. Italiano.
Skyiness.
The most interesting chili I tried it was garnished with sour cream, scallions, and a little bit of orange zest. And it had pork belly and some other beef, Sichuan peppercorns, which added that like ma la thing, which is spicy, heat, numbing flavor. Unfortunately, it was the last chili I tried, and I was just totally chilied out. And I think it might have been the spiciest one. Everyone was kind of tame on the spice. There was nothing above a 3 that I found out of 5,
So, listener, if you're still listening,
they are.
You know when you do that Italian like finger bundle, you're pointing up to the sky like "Mamma mia!" That's the sky anus. That's what Dan he coined that phrase. So, to everyone out there, sky anus.
Sky anus. I don't. But where is the anus? Are we putting our hand in it? Is the shape of our
It's the sky.
I think you're acknowledging that there is a sky anus from which wonderful things fall, and many of them are culinary in nature. Oddly enough,
that's what the anus looks like.
Sure.
Well, I mean, it's imperfect,
right? But
you can't do a full-on balloon knot with your fingers.
I see, but this is the ring, and you're ascending it into the sky.
Sure.
Right? Okay, because I'm not sure where the hand fits in.
This is the part we're going to send into the podcast academy to
the potties
award. The potties.
For
yes, the potties.
For outstanding achievement in investigative journalism. What is the sky anus?
The Nobel Prize for podcasting goes to Scraping the Vault.
For sky anus?
Sky anus coverage. To give the award for the Scraping the Vault Sky anus coverage, Barbara Walters.
She's dead.
The ghost of Barbara Walters. The reanimated corpse of Barbara Walters.
All right, I'm ready to do this thing.
Okay.
Yeah, let's roll.
I don't want to say anything else because it's going to spoil stuff.
Okay. Well, thanks for listening this long. We're going to start the show now.
What you just listened to is going to happen right now.
Okay. Bye, David.
and Eric.
And Eric. And probably Ryan.
And us. Sky anus.
Sky anus.
If I am listening, if you are listening, me, you, if you are still listening, will you cut this part out? I don't think you will.
A day after a worker was trampled to death by an early morning Black Friday stampede inside this Long Island Walmart,